Hey, two Cubans on a Zoom. What is this? We got 3 hours or what?
I hope so.
I paid for the non-free version.
Good. Hey, Lazo, you can bring it.
We're gonna be there, Gabe. Bro, he had me fooled. I thought he was like the nice, innocent one, dude.
No, bro.
You got me fooled.
I wish his players can see the amount of junk that guy talks. That guy is an elite
Trash talker.
junk talker. Unbelievable, bro. And he has an unbelievable creative mind where he'll send out a text on the group chat within minutes of getting his behind kicked with graphics and everything. I'm telling you, when I become a head coach, I'm going to hire Raul to be my graphic guy and my associate head coach because, look, El Tipo is unbelievable.
It's called Coaching Connection. It's called Coaching Connection. It's called Coaching Connection.
Guess we're waiting on Gabe. You doing all right?
Yeah, man, yourself.
I'm good, man. Trying to get settled in after work.
What time is it for you? Are you just an hour behind?
Yeah, we're just 1 hour. So Gabe just moved over to Knoxville.
He did. Yeah.
And y'all known each other for a minute?
So when I was a junior, he played varsity as an 8th grader. So we played against one another. That's how we've known each other for a really long time. How long have you been coaching?
I've been teaching in education for 18 years. I've been a head coach at the school I'm at for going on 11.
Wow.
And it's the school I graduated from.
Oh, that's awesome.
I appreciate it. And then I've been obviously I was an assistant for several years before that, but yeah, it's good, man, to be home and kind of work with the kids. They're all the same kids, same kind of kids, same background.
Yeah.
No, they get after it. No, we don't have D1 athletes, so but we got grit and they grind and they fly around. And
what's the biggest city to you?
well, San Antonio's pretty big. I mean, well, he found it. He's on his iPhone now. San Antonio's like the 8th largest city in the country, but Houston and Dallas are just a few miles away.
What's going on, man?
What's up, Coach?
What's going on, buddy?
You all right?
Yeah. How do I look on this phone?
Yeah, I mean, you look skinnier than us, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're headed that way in 2 years. We're going in a new league and we play Trinity, which is right there, I guess, in San Antonio.
Yeah,
Trinity.
yeah. It's I mean, yeah,
I'll be right back. I gotta go to my car and get it.
Bet. We got UTSA, UIW. Trinity and UIW are like 5 minutes apart from each other.
Wow. Yeah, we go down that way in 2 years. We're switching conferences, and then we go to Southwestern, which I think is in Austin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we play, one or the other on a Friday, and then we play the other one on a Sunday. So
you'll be down here. I mean, let me know.
Yeah.
I'll come out and check it out.
Yeah.
First, man, I appreciate you guys, man, taking the time, to out of your day. I know you guys are getting started. You're busy. But I appreciate you guys very much. You guys feeling pretty good? I mean, about the year starting and the squads that you guys got?
Yeah, I feel great, man. To be honest, man. I think we have a good group. I think our head coach is really good, man. So I'm learning a ton from her, and she does a really good job, man, at getting our kids to believe, man. So we're gonna surprise a lot of people, man. Our team is gonna be very different than what it's been in the past.
Yeah.
So that's exciting, man. I'm excited to see how the fan base reacts. To Coach Kim and her style of play, man. So yeah, just excited.
But I guess, Gabe, for you, what's the transition been like, coming into a new university?
Bro, I mean, for me, man, obviously being in the league, I'm much more confident, right, than I was 2.5 years ago when I was coming from the mid-major level and then going into the SEC. The SEC is different, and coming here to Tennessee with the head coach that I have in Kim, she's someone that is really looking at me and Coach Roman, who's also, another SEC experienced assistant coach. And she kind of allows us to be who we are and allow us to be helpful for her. But obviously at first, when you leave, leaving Mississippi State was hard, for us, and Raul will agree with this too, man. We're very loyal. And, Sam Purcell, the head coach of Mississippi State, he gave me a huge opportunity. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He brought me to this level. Without Sam, I wouldn't be here at Tennessee. So obviously there's a huge emotional attachment that I have to Sam, and how much I appreciate him. And then, you have the players, right? I'm big with relationships, man. Relationships mean the world to me. Um, Relationships to me are not transactional. They're lifetime relationships. So, leaving those kids behind was hard. Especially when you recruit these kids and you build relationships, you build a bond, and you become kind of like a mentor, right? Then you gotta go. So, it was really hard. At first, it didn't hit me that bad, but then, like, when I was able to kind of like reflect, after, going on the road, because, once I got here to Tennessee, it was bam, 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 bam. It was
Mhm.
transfer portal time. And then I had to go on the road in April. And it's just so fast that, you don't really sit back and say, okay, like, you know,
Take it all in.
digesting all of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. So obviously, I'm as it is for me, man. I'm a pretty emotional person. It's just who I am. And there was a whole day where I just looked back and I was like, wow, like so much has happened in short amount of time. But like everything else, man, super thankful to be here. This is a special place. Mississippi State was also a special place. The people in Starkville are unbelievable. The administration was nothing but man, supportive and very helpful, and they really valued me. Sam really valued me, and that was something I was scared about, because I didn't know Coach Kim.
Yeah.
People think I knew Coach Kim. I didn't know Coach Kim. Coach Kim called me, and and without a doubt, I appreciate the opportunity, but still, it's like I don't know her, she don't know me, so she's taking a gamble on me, and I'm taking a gamble on
No
her.
doubt. No doubt.
Because as far as we don't know each other, but at the end of the day, man, I'm glad I did it. I'm growing, right? I'm learning a lot, and I'm excited, man. But it was an emotional move.
No
I
doubt.
think that's the best way to describe it.
And like I know we haven't really personally known each other well. I met you in person, Raul, once. But we've been on social media for a couple of years. But I follow you guys and I see the loyalty and I see the just through your social media, I see the way you invest into what you're doing and the people you're working with and it's obvious how genuine that really is. And so for someone who doesn't really know you personally, I mean, it's obvious that you guys you go all in on what you're doing. And so that's I
For sure.
appreciate that.
Yeah, man. No, that's who we are, man.
No, Raul, for you, I mean, you've been at Maryville for how long?
This is my 14th year.
14th year, right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's impressive, right? And it's impressive the amount of success that you've had, right? So just talk to me a little bit about what it was like when you first got there and how you managed to build yourself into this program.
Man, no different than Gabe. Gabe and I's relationship stretches all the way to our high school days playing against one another. It's been a grind of working each and every day to be the best player at the time when we were both playing. And as we got into the coaching world, we both started at the bottom, right? We're from the bottom and we started at the bottom. We started as freshmen, JV coaches, and then we worked ourselves up to being high school head coaches. And then we became assistants. And, I've been, obviously, I'm grateful. I'm thankful that I was given an opportunity after my coach retired, who I worked with for 8 years as his associate head coach. And the college gave me an opportunity to become the head coach. And, now, like I said, I've been associated with the school for 14 years. We've experienced a lot of success. I've built on the success that my coach left. My coach is a Tennessee Hall of Famer. He won over 700 games. The
Yeah.
floor is named after him. And, I have a duty and a responsibility, not only because I was replacing him and I played for him and I have a lot of pride in the program, but man, being a Latino in the coaching world, there's not many us coaching at any level in the NCAA in Division I, II, and III, especially head coaches. And I want to do such a good job that if someone else gets this opportunity, they say, "Hey, man, there was a gentleman down there in East Tennessee who did a pretty darn good job, and these guys are committed, they're loyal, they're going to be about the kids, and they're going to build a good culture and a good program." So for me, it's an everyday responsibility to do the best that I possibly can.
No, I love it, man. I love that. And And I can sense that you guys are ultra competitive too. So whatever you're gonna do, you're gonna try to be the best at it, no matter what.
You're right about that. That's why when I play him in the barn, I'm trying to get
Bro,
in him. I'm trying to bust him up. You know what I'm saying?
You read my mind right now because I'm
Yeah,
like,
you know what
okay,
time
so
it is, boy. We go to that barn at 5:30 in the morning. I'm trying to get Raul, boy.
yeah. So my next question is, all right, so you guys get up early, you grind, you work out every day. Well, first off, I mean, how important is it for someone in the business to take care of their bodies and really put emphasis on taking care of yourselves?
Gabe probably takes care of himself a little bit better than I do. I still try. We're playing sometimes 3 days a week at 5:30 in the morning, which is no easy task. I'll tell you that. But for me, it just it gets your day started. It gets your engine going, and man, it's just great camaraderie. There's a lot of guys, former college guys as well, just like us, that we get together and we play and we compete. And it's just. Man, it's just building relationships. It's another avenue of building relationships with people within the community. And we're fortunate enough to be around some really great people at that barn that we play at, which by the way, you hear barn, it's a heck of a facility
It's
that we play at. But yeah, man, I just enjoy the camaraderie. Again, Gabe and I go back to our high school days, and so it's fun. We're always on opposing teams. We can't be on the same team because first of all, there's only one basketball, and two, we'll drive those guys nuts just yelling at one another. So, but it's fun, and Gabe, I think Gabe will add to that a little bit.
Yeah, man. For me, it's been something to look forward to, man. Like he said, man. It's. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, man. It's great fellowship, man. To be able to meet new people, and I'm thankful to have Raul here, man. I mean, I met Raul when I was in 8th grade, and he was, I don't know, I think he was a junior or a senior. His team.
He told me a little bit about that. We'll get to that.
Yeah, he kicked. Yeah. They were very good. You know what I mean? They were very good, man. They got the best of us when I was in 8th grade. But to have someone here that has followed my journey, and I've followed his journey, and he's connected me, man, with some incredible people here, man, in Knoxville, and we have fun. We talk a lot of junk to each other, and I look forward to it, man. Every night before I know that we're gonna have the opportunity to play, man, I go to bed already and psyched up. You know what I'm saying? I have my energy drink ready because I'm gonna have to talk some junk to Rule today. You know what I mean? But it's about relationships, man. And that's to be quite honest, man. That's the big reason why I'm here, man. I value relationships. I love to connect with people. I like to connect to other people. I like to help others, man. And meeting these guys, man, they're good dudes, man. They're just good dudes, and we have fun, man. I mean, I would like to play with Raul on my team at least once. I've never gotten to play with him.
It sounds more fun than going against them, probably.
Yeah, man.
So I mean, in all honesty, in these matchups, who's winning these games right now?
He's gotten the best of me lately. He's gotten the best out of me lately. But early on, don't get it twisted. He was over. He finally got on a roll. He got in the gym. I was giving him a hard time because he's used to shooting with the women's ball. So I said, "Hey, man, we play with the men's ball here." And then he started getting in. I know he got in the gym because
he got some extra reps for sure.
His jumper was looking it was looking too
kid.
sweet. It was looking too nice for it just to be a casual thing. But no, he's gotten the best out of me lately. But
but he gets the best out of me too, man. It's I like it when he goes hard.
I don't go as hard as he does.
He doesn't.
But 42 is a little different, right? No, 42 hits a little different.
Yeah, I just, he has to talk a lot of junk to get me going. So he has to bring the energy from the get at 5:30. And if he does it and he'll say some crazy stuff, it gets me going. But it takes me about 4 or 5 games to get going.
I'm watching these stories of 5 in the morning over here, and I'm like, dude, I'm getting fired up. Like, dude, what?
But no, man, it's great, and we talk about it. Again, great fellowship, great relationships that we're building with people in the community. And yeah, man, it's just great to be able to still be able to get out there and play a little bit.
No, it's good, man. Like I miss it. We have
Marcus, man. I'm making that dude popular over here, man. All my players, I was like, yo, who's that bald dude with that beard? He's always talking all that junk. Our coaching staff knows who Raul is. Boy, I'm telling you, man. Free marketing for Raul over here, man.
That's funny, man. Man, no, I envy it because we used to have that here in the mornings with our coaching staff. We get the football coaches and the basketball staff, and and then they got lazy, bro, and they didn't want to wake up early no more. And it was just me by myself, just shooting in the gym. So I just started lifting or whatever. But I mean, it was fun. It's good times. It's a good
Yeah, don't worry
break
about
from
it.
reality, bro.
Get me and Raul on a flight, and we'll get over there, and we'll
Yeah.
get that place fired up real
You gotta
quick.
turn it up for real. It's a good time. But talk to me about you guys' high school days. I know you guys go all the way back. What was that like playing ball?
Raul,
I
want
was
you to go
I was
first?
older than him. I was a junior when he was an eighth grader, but you could tell he was going to be extremely talented. You know, he carried his team, and he was in eighth grade.
Wow.
We were just a lot older. We had some really good play. We had a really good team, and you know, that year we ended up losing in the regional finals to Jackie Manuel, who ended up going to North Carolina. It was very talented. You know, back home, it's a big city, so everyone's really talented.
Yeah.
But you know, my high school days, you know, I had a really good high school career. I was all city back home, you know, obviously gave me the opportunity to go play college basketball, but you know, we were at different stages when we ran up against one another. He was the up
Yeah,
and coming young guy. I'm really on my way out because that was my junior year to
Yeah.
becoming a senior, and but you could see that he had a lot of talent, and then he ended up transferring. And obviously I'll let him tell his story, but now there's a lot of guys that were really good in high school. I say this all the time, and then they get to college and they don't do much, right?
Yeah.
There's very few guys that are able to be really good in high school, have really good college careers, and you know, and in our case, we're still living our dream because we're coaching the game that opens so many doors for us. So, man, just been very fortunate and played against a lot of really good players, and one of them you're hearing him here tonight. So, but you know, he can share a little bit more of his story, growing, you know,
yeah,
back
man.
in those days.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, man, playing at Miami High is honestly, man, that was the best decision I think I've ever made in my life. You know, a lot. I mean, maybe you, Marcus, you don't really know much about what Miami High is all about, and but before, you know, you had Montverde, before you had IMG Academy, before you had all those, you know, those present, you know, powerhouses now at the national level. It was Miami High, you know,
Man.
and it's a place where, you know, warriors were built, man. And I was around that at a very young age. You know, I was around Miami High since I was like in seventh grade, sixth grade, and you know, they're the ones that helped me go to that private school, to Brito Private, where I played against Raul, and Raul was at Gulliver, and they had a, you know, a state championship contending team. But the impact that my high school coaches had on me, you know, like I overheard Raul say, Frank didn't really directly coach me at Miami High, but he coached me in AAU.
Mhm.
You know, just like Shaky, you know, Shaky was, you know, Shaky is someone that you probably have you ever heard of Shaky Rodriguez or no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Frank was talking about him when I was talking to Frank.
Yeah, so that's, you know, he's really the first Latino Division I men's basketball coach, and he did that straight from the high school level. He went from being the head coach at Miami High, right, to being the head coach at FIU. You know, he didn't have any Division I coaching experience, and you know, a lot of Latinos, they don't really know, man, that he's one of the biggest, you know, door opening guys for us Latinos in this profession. And, you know, obviously Frank mentions him because that was Frank's mentor, Frank and Anthony Grant, they both were JV coaches under Shaky at Miami High, man. And, you know, the network, the relationships that I was able, you know, to create and develop at Miami High, man, are lifelong relationships, man, and they've helped me in this journey that I'm on right now. You know, and they're gonna continue to help me as I move forward, right? And hopefully one day I'll have the opportunity to become a head coach. Miami High is going to be somewhere in that situation, you
Yeah.
know, and you know, but super thankful, man. I was lucky, man, to be around some unbelievable dudes, man. You know, Marcus Barnes really impacted me as a young guy, but I was able to go to Frank's practices when I was in 7th and 8th grade and see Steve Blake and work out with Steve Blake. And the biggest thing about Miami High, Marcus, was in the off season. You had all the college guys coming back, and all the pros, a lot of the Miami Heat pros will work out at Miami High in the summer. And one thing that really stood out to me, man, that really impacted my life was every Tuesday and Thursday, there was open gym, right? For all the pros and all the college guys. And there was a rule. There had to be one Miami High player on each team. So I was on the court playing with Roger Bell, Luke Barnes, Charlie Miller. These are legends from Miami, McDonald's All-Americans, and Tim Hardaway Jr. I mean, Romeo Robinson, people don't know, man, the impact that Romeo Robinson had on me as a kid. Romeo Robinson is someone who led Michigan to a national championship. He was an assistant coach when I was at Miami High. So Miami High was by far the most influential 4 years, because obviously high school is 4 years, but it was more than 4 years because I was around the program since maybe the 6th, 7th grade. So it was more like a 7-year, impact period of time for me with Miami High, man. And it's a legacy. Whenever you have a chance, look it up, man. You're going to learn a lot about it, man. And they made a documentary called The Asylum. And, as you can tell, I'm very passionate about Miami High, man, because it really, a lot of my, characteristics, a lot of, my skill sets were developed really, really young at that age, man, at Miami High. So it was a great time, man.
Well, I'm gonna say first about the head coaching thing. I think it's inevitable, right? Gabe's gonna get a shot to run his own program. I mean, it's coming, and he can see it. You can see it from a distance. From where I'm at, I can see it.
Man, I hope so, bro. I hope, man. I hope. I really want to have that opportunity one day, man. You know what I mean? To run my own program and to be able to help others, man. I think, like Raul said, man, there ain't many of us, Division I, Division II, Division III, Latinos that are in this profession, man. And if I have the opportunity one day, man, to become a head coach, it's gonna give me, a stage, man, where I can really impact a lot of Latinos and different minorities all over the world.
No,
and that's what I want to do, man.
No, for sure. And just hearing you talk about Miami High and seeing you both, even in the group chat, I say one thing about Miami, and you guys are just eating it up. You guys love it, and I can see the passion you got about where you come from and the roots that you have. And from what I've seen from you guys, you coach very passionately. Does that also come from your roots back home?
I think so, man. It comes from our Cuban heritage too. We both are very respectful and loving of our mothers. Our mothers are probably the toughest people in our lives. And for us, it's a matter of representing them, right? Like, when we played as kids, and I know I'm speaking for him now, but our parents are probably very similar. You better leave everything on the floor. You may not get fed when you get home. But just the passion for the game, the passion for people. I think that's a cultural thing for us being Cuban. We wear our passion on our sleeves. You know what I mean? Like, what you see is what you get. That there's no gray area. It's black and white with us. And yeah, man, it's just we coach that way. I think recruits love that. They want to play for someone who's upfront and honest, and it's gonna, not just be there to pat them on the butt. They're also gonna challenge them and want them to be their best. And Frank has said this many times, and and another gentleman that Gabe didn't mention because it was before Gabe was Sergio Rocco. Sergio Rocco started at Miami High, so you're talking about 4 Division I coaches who came out of one high school. That's unheard of.
Crazy,
crazy. And yeah, it's crazy, and they've all had great success. And one of the most, I know I'm going on a tangent here, but Shaky, who went to FIU, Coach Carlos Arroyo, who may be one of the most famous Latino players of all time, right?
For sure.
And so for us, man, our the 305, like we coin it and we phrase it, it means a lot to us because it's where we started. It's where we got our passion for the game, our passion for people. So when we have an opportunity to talk about it or rep it, it fills you with all those great memories. And you know, it invigorates you to want to continue to do what we're doing now. And we're both have been very fortunate to be doing this now at the collegiate level. And yeah, you know, back home is, I know I take great pride in being a Cuban American and being a son of Cuban immigrant parents. I take great pride in that.
And it bleeds through. I can see it, man. I can see it. I can feel it. It's impressive, bro. And I can appreciate it. Especially like, you know, strong Latino heritage here in San Antonio, man. People love it. They live it. They bleed it. And you can just feel the sense of culture and pride that comes from it. So I have a strong appreciation when I see it from a distance too.
Good deal.
So you guys are coaching, right? Let's just talk a little bit about accountability. So what does it look like for you guys when you're talking about you talk about coaching kids up, right? Sometimes it's not just how good you're doing, but sometimes you might need to challenge them and hold them accountable for things, you know, from the best player on the team to person playing on the bench. What does that look like for you guys, holding your team accountable?
Gabe, you want to take it or?
Yeah, it's fine, man. I mean, I think, you know, when it comes to accountability, man, I think that's going to be, you know, the heartbeat to your program, man. I think, you know, players want to be held accountable, right? Players want to be, you know, players want you to demand from them. I think in order for you to have a strong, healthy culture, you know, accountability has to be something that is practiced, you know, and it can be fakey, you know, it can be, oh, I'm gonna hold, you know, this walk on accountable, but you know, I'm gonna, you know, kind of act like I don't see what's going on with when, you know, when some of my best or my more talented guys are not doing the right thing, right? But you got to hold everybody accountable, man. And that's one thing that I love about my current head coach. You know, she has a great way to do it. It's not always going to be, you know, with her voice, but when it comes to film, you know what I mean? She does an unbelievable job, man, of being direct. She has a great touch where she's, you know, has that balance where she's loving, but she's going to tell you the truth and hold you accountable. And for me, when I become a head coach, as you can see, you know, I'm going to be who I am, and I'm going to hold you accountable. And if I don't hold you accountable, man, then that means I don't want what's best for you. That means that there's no care. That means that I'm not doing my job in preparing you for life, you know. And at the end of the day, man, that's what this is all about. You know, all Raul is doing, all Frank has done, all that I'm trying to continue to do, right, is prepare these kids for life through basketball, because that's what it did for me, man. You know, now that I'm a man, I can look back and say, wow, you know, basketball truly put me through so much adversity, that where, you know, I learned how to handle it, man. And accountability was a big piece of that. You know, you had your coaches, you need to be on time. Well, guess what? In real life, if you're not on time, you know, you're going to get fired.
Yep.
You know, if you don't work on your craft, someone's going to pass you.
Yep.
You know, if you don't show up and have good energy or have respect, or you can't work with others, then they're going to find someone else who can. No doubt. Know, so I think at the end of the day, man, holding kids accountable, holding your players, holding your scout players, you know, holding your managers, it's big, man, to have that as a staple in your program, man, because at the end of the day, man, it's about preparing these kids for life. And if they're not being held accountable now, man, they're going to have bad habits when they become adults, and they're going to become unemployed adults. So that's the way I see it, man. You know, without a doubt, I'm big with accountability, and I'm thankful that the head coaches that I've worked for have allowed me to be who I am, and have the freedom to hold the players accountable in a respectful way, you know, never berating anybody or anything like that.
Yeah, I think to echo what Coach is talking about, it's no different here. Frank has a really famous phrase that he used at a press conference. He says, you know, I don't believe in tough coaching. I believe I either love them or I don't. That's the way I feel. You know, if you love your kids, you want the best. You know, you want the best for them. And for us, the accountability, we have a phrase in our program, is truth over harmony. If you want kumbaya, I'm not that guy, right? I'm all about the truth. And man, I'm your harshest critic, but your biggest cheerleader when you do things the right way. And for us, that's the way we operate. And I think when you operate on that level, you're going to attract the best players. You're going to attract a great culture. You're going to attract kids that really want to work because regardless if it's women, men, girls, boys, people that you search, you want structure in your life and you
Sure.
want others to hold you accountable. And we have a phrase in the back of my office that says, "Discipline yourself so others won't have to." And when you create that within your program, you have great things, man. And I think that's what we both were very fortunate to have in high school. We had coaches that held us accountable, and most importantly, we had parents that stayed on our tail about being the best we can be, and we owe them a lot for that. So I think a lot of times it starts in home at your home, and then you have our profession, coaches that build on the foundation that your parents, grandparents, whoever was in charge of you at the time, raising you. We just build on that foundation that you set for your children. And yeah, man, I just, like Gabe said, it's really important to hold your kids accountable.
And I feel like,
but Marcus, sorry to interrupt you. You'd be surprised how many people at the highest level are afraid to hold people accountable. Like I'm telling you, it's and growing up, times have changed. They are different times,
sure.
But there's definitely a way to go about it, and a lot of it comes, from not being afraid of being direct,
So you guys, you're out on the road recruiting, I guess from a recruiting standpoint, though, as you're watching these young athletes, carry themselves, what are you guys watching as you're out at these tournaments or these games, and what are you looking for? Obviously the intangibles are there, but what are you guys looking for?
Man, I'll start this time. I look how does a young man conduct himself with his teammates? How does he conduct himself with his coach? How does he react to some adversity, right? For instance, he picks up 2 fouls in the first quarter. Does he stay engaged throughout the first half if his coach is one of those guys who takes you out after 2 fouls? Is he looking in the crowd? How does he treat his mother and father? That to me is really important. How you treat the people that are close to you tells me a lot about who you are as a person. And you want to create a culture of high character people. And you got to look at those smaller things that at the end of the day are not small things. There are the big things that make the whole thing, the whole big picture work. So when I go to games, how does he handle adversity? How does he play off the ball? The points and the rebounds and that stuff is important. But at the end of the day, how do their attributes lead to winning? And for us, that's what I look at, because there's only one basketball. There's only a certain amount of shots that you can take in a collegiate game. So you got to be good at other things, right? Billy Donovan said it best. 95 to 98% of the game is played without the ball in your hands. What do you do when the ball is not in your hands? And are you a great teammate? Do you bring energy? Are you a good rebounder? Do you have good ball sureness? So there's so many things that make great teams. And Coach and I have been very fortunate to be on some great teams as players, and we've been on some great teams as coaches. And those are the things that you want to look for on the recruiting trail. Winners do the little things. And when you sit there, I'm one of those guys. I don't chat when I'm out recruiting. I'll chat with you at lunch, dinner, when we have time off. I'm there to work. I'm there to see who can help our program get better and raise the bar, right? We don't want to keep it at the same level. We want to raise it. And that's what I look for when I'm on the road.
Gabe?
Yeah, I mean, for me, obviously it's a little different, being, coaching in the SEC, right? And now coaching at Tennessee, you're going to recruit, right? Some of the most, talented kids in the country. Being at a program like Tennessee with the Lady Vols, it's a historic women's basketball program. But a lot to what, Raul says. For me, the number one thing is I got to find players that fit my head coach.
Yeah.
Raul is a head coach, so, his perspective is different. everything he says, I totally agree with, and I'm on board with it. But he makes the final decision.
Yeah.
He is the head coach. So for me, being a road guy, I gotta make sure, man, that I can get, I can target and build relationships with young ladies that fit the style of play that my coach wants to play. We play a very unique style. I got to make sure that it's someone that fits the Lady Vol culture. And ultimately it's someone that my head coach wants, and so it's different, as an assistant to a head coach. But obviously, you always, when you're recruiting, there's also different positions that you're recruiting, right? If you need, size, or you need, versatility, here for us, we want to recruit versatile, athletic kids that can play both ends. Everyone's hearing this like, oh, well, that's what everybody wants, but we're a pressing team. We're going to press, and, offensively, we're going to play very fast. So, you got to be able to shoot the ball. You know what I mean? You got to be able to move. You got to be athletic. If you're not a super athletic kid, you might not fit our style of play. You know what I mean? Not always true, because there's kids that are not super athletic that play super, super hard.
Yeah.
And they make up for it because they play super hard. But with us, my head coach is elite at getting kids to play hard, at getting kids to believe in her and her system. So for me, man, it's locating kids that really fit, kids that have good attitudes. Everyone's going to say the same thing, but I think also when they come into your culture, right, I think you can change some habits from kids. When you bring in a young lady into a culture that, is a strong culture, they're going to kind of say, oh, wow, these guys over here, they ain't playing around.
Yeah.
So I got to get with it, or I'm out of here, and, but yeah, that's for me, man. I also try to, like Raul said, I think energy is a big one. Like for me, when I'm a head coach, just me selfishly talking now, if you don't got no juice, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I like, you're high energy, versatile, but that's pretty much it. My boss likes players that can score the ball. She likes dynamic scores, even if they're small. She
As long as they can fill it up, she likes them.
yeah, she's about that life, and if they get after it. But it's definitely different recruiting at Tennessee than anywhere else.
So you guys, I guess from a player development standpoint, you got your squad, you got the kids on your team, the young men and ladies on your team. And when you get in the gym with them, is it something that you guys are individualizing when you're working with them, or is it general skill that you need them to be able to do within the flow of your offense, or what are you guys working on?
Yeah, you're working on the things that are going to lead to playing the best team basketball you can possibly play on the floor, right? And it's all about whatever your system of play is. You got to develop those skills. We're a 3-level scoring team. A lot of teams in college now are big time, whether it's just layups or threes. We shoot the mid-range game. So we're a 3-level scoring team. So we're working on that, daily, right? And we're working on pull-ups. We're working on our corner threes, stretching out the floor, working around finishes around the rim. And, we're a little bit different. We play a driving space offense because we're trying to create double gaps to play off a lot of space. But we still are traditional where we're 4 out, 1 in, and we throw the ball inside because we have good post players. So, and we post up our guards. I think Gabe and them, they do that as well. They like to post up and take advantage of their size with their ladies at the wing position. And we kind of do the same thing. We're trying to take advantage of guards that have high skill set that can score around the rim. That's the easiest shot, right? The closer you are to the rim, the more highly efficient you're going to be. So for us, it's just creating, workouts for the guys that obviously lead into what we're trying to do from a big picture perspective on the offensive side of the ball.
You guys kind of similar, Gabe?
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, we definitely want to skill develop, especially at this time of the year, right? It's going to be, mostly on what you're going to be doing in games, right? In our system, which, Raul brought up a good point. He's 3-level, we're more going to be layup and threes. you know. But also, coach also gives us the freedom to, when you watch film, you see a young lady who is not comfortable, maybe, finishing with her left hand, right? Or finishing on 2 feet. She doesn't, she encourages us to do a little bit of like more of an individualized skill session with them, and then do like your corner threes, your straight line drives, playing on 2 feet, different finishes. But we do like, for me, for me, I like to kind of, work with our players for at least 10 to 15 minutes on something that they're struggling with, right? I want them to be more confident. And we encourage, especially Coach Kim, she encourages them to try these things in practice, at the pace that we play. We play extremely fast. Like right now, we are competing and we are going full speed.
I love it though. I love it.
And people talk about, oh, you're gonna play with freedom and it's fakey.
Yeah.
Like over here at Tennessee with women's basketball, you're gonna play fast and you're gonna play with freedom. Because we run a system very similar to what Raul was talking about. We're trying to create gaps. We're trying to put two on the ball to kick out.
Yeah.
And if you're not plugging or you're not showing, we're going to pass it and try to get someone a better shot. If they don't have it, they're going to drive it and try to score on you. And we have some pretty good one-on-one scores. So if you decide to not help, then we're going to keep our dribble alive and try to post you up and score on you. Yeah. But we do work on some of the areas that we have to get better at. Someone doesn't like to go left. Someone doesn't like to go right. We work on that, and then we get into our offensive stuff, things that we score out of, areas that, where you're going to get most shots from. So it's a little bit of both.
No, it's a good balance too. And to your team point, you guys are playing fast. And I've seen guys and coaches, I go watch practice all the time where they want to play fast, but they kind of practice slow. I think it kind of has to match. Everything you do daily's got to match how you're trying to play.
Of course, man. If you're not practicing it, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to go well. Now, when you first start to practice it, it's you got to be okay with the chaos.
For sure.
For sure. And that's one thing, I love about my head coach, man. She's okay with it. She's okay with it. And she sticks with it. She believes in her philosophy, man, and she doesn't waver.
It's going to take time for it to gel and figure out. It's going to be chaotic.
Yeah, but I'm telling you right now, where we're at right now, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. We are very ahead, man.
Yeah.
We compete. We get after it. It is intense, man. And, a lot of coaches are always like, oh, we play fast and you're going to be able to do this when they're recruiting players. And it's fakey, man.
Yeah.
They ain't about that life. The minute you get a rebound and you push up the court, they're telling you, oh, slow down. Now here, Kim is telling you, go
get a bucket and
shoot that thing.
Right? Yeah. I want to play for Kim. I don't know Kim. I want to play for Coach Kim.
Yeah. Hey, I want to play for Kim too, bro. I want to play for Kim too.
Man. Well, we'll kind of wrap it up a little bit, but a couple of quick rapid fire type questions, man. You guys are working out. You got your headphones on or the speakers blasting. What's the song you want to hear? First song you want to hear as you're lifting or working out or hooping and busting each other up on the court?
Who is it, Raul? Go ahead,
man.
Raul.
I'm gonna, you got to rep the 305 somehow. Maybe a little pit bull action, early in the morning to get it going. A little dale. But man, I'm old school, man. I'm a late 90s, 2000 kid, right? I'm a big Tupac guy.
Yeah.
Then I got the heavy metal side to me sometimes. I'm a big Led Zeppelin guy too. So
oh my God, bro. Tennessee got you.
Gabe's not feeling it.
No, the Led Zeppelin I'm not feeling. But definitely the Tupac I'm feeling, the Pitbull, a little Thoma in there. You know what I'm saying? Get a little 305 going on. Pitt is big with the Thoma. Yeah. People have been asking me over here within our program, Coach, what does Thoma mean? Because, whenever we hit a three in practice, I'm like, Thoma! So they're gonna learn.
Like, they're gonna learn real quick.
They're gonna learn. They're learning already. But yeah, man, I love me some Tupac, some Biggie, some Jay-Z. Some Bone Thugs and Harmony, man. Kind of like a surreal moment for me, man. Like the second week I was here, man. We had a concert over in the arena, man, and it was Bone Thugs and Harmony, bro. And my whole childhood, man, I was always jamming to Bone Thugs, bro, and I
For
got to see
sure.
those guys. It was kind of, I'm just sharing something personal with you, but I'm a big Bone Thugs guy. Um,
Hey,
Dr. Dre.
I'm gonna echo something here. Talking about surreal moments. Gabe came with his team
True story,
last
man.
year, Mississippi State, right? 2 years ago, right,
2 years
Gabe?
ago, our first year,
And
man.
I came to their shoot around. We hadn't seen each other, came, watched them, and we talked and we took a picture
I have it.
in Thompson Bowling. And we were, reflecting on our path and things like that. And I'm like, man, wouldn't it be crazy? I said it like that out loud, wouldn't it be crazy if you end up here one day?
Yeah,
And like it's funny because I think that's been our lives. You speak things into existence that you truly believe in,
no doubt.
right? And and when they come to fruition, it's they're great moments. And I remember, he called me, short, long story short, when he made the decision to come here, it was bing, bam, boom.
I'm
Like
here.
it happened in 2 days. Am I right, Gabe? And we
Facts.
talked about it. We talked about that moment. When he came down, and here he is, man. And one of the top programs in the history
History, bro. In
of
the
basketball,
history.
right? Like we're
Yeah.
not just women. We're talking about basketball with one of the most iconic
General.
coaches of all time in Pat Summit, and and they're trying to resurrect it to the levels that she had it, right? And
Yeah.
it's not that they've been bad; they've been good, but everyone was used to national championships.
Yeah.
And what a privilege that is for him and their staff to have that pressure, because that's awesome to come to work every day, that you're working and fighting to get back to that stage. So yeah, he touched on that part, and that made me think
Of that
of that
moment.
moment.
Man, but I
Yeah,
think too, bro, like you guys having each other there, Gabe coming, having you there, and you having to move in that connection and that brotherhood that you already have. I think even when things get tough, you guys lean on each other. That's huge, man. That's big.
absolutely.
Man, but back to the Bone Thugs real quick. I'm a huge Bone Thugs fan. I think
For
our
real?
age is so I think I'm 40. I think you're like 42. I don't know how old you are, Gabe, but you're probably close to it.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm in my 30s. I'm in my 30s, kid. Chill out, kid. Chill out.
but I think our age is showing a little bit. But I for whatever reason, Bone Thugs loves to come to San Antonio, man. They come. I think I've seen them like 7 times. Big venues, small venues, 20 people, 1,000 people. I mean, they're just here forever. So I've been able to have the privilege to watch them quite a few times. It's been fun.
Yeah, no, I know that was dope, man. That was dope. Now, don't get it twisted. I like Drake and I like some of the new guys too, but um, and I'm into the reggaeton. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
like Bad Bunny. I like Raul. I like all that stuff. You know what I mean? I'm into that little that man's that 305. I didn't get to talk about the 305. Raul spoke about the 305,
Talk
man.
to me
For
about
me,
the 305 for a little bit, Gabe.
yeah. Like for me, man, it's a lot of pride, man. Because you know what, the 305 when it comes to basketball is very overlooked. You know what I'm saying? And to
Yeah.
be, Cuban American and to play at any level, it's hard.
Yeah.
And you got me and Rule on the phone right now, man. We both played at the NCAA level. I played Division 1, Division 2. Raul was a legend at a Division 3. He could have played at Division 1 or Division 2. He went to a big time D3 program. But man, it's about pride, man. It's about putting, your city on the map. You know what I mean? And for me, like, they don't believe in us down there, man. If it ain't football,
Mm.
it's difficult to make it out of there, man.
But
And
is
to
it,
do
do
it,
you feel like it's taking over, like it's starting to form a life of its own on the basketball side?
yeah, of course, you know what
Yeah.
I mean. But it's not like what it is with football.
I'm in Texas. Texas and Florida the
You know what
same
I'm
way,
saying?
I
Like,
think.
yeah. So like, just look at Raul and some of the other Miami guys that are here in Tennessee, in Knoxville, that were recruited by the Maryville head coach. That guy was recruiting Miami.
Yeah.
Raul wasn't the only one that was pretty good that he brought in here. Our barber, Big E. Big E was good, dog. Shout out to you, bro. Like you got Greg, that's Raul's best friend.
Raul ain't got no barber. You got a
Yeah, man.
barber?
Look at this. Look at this.
Oh,
Big E,
you got the
kid, Big
beard.
E, kid, Big E. But
Biggie was my roommate. He was a Miami guy. And to echo what Gabe is talking about, like, yeah, it has been overlooked for a long time. We have a lot of great players that have come from a lot of different places, great coaches. But man, what a great thing we have. Obviously, talking about my friend here, Gabe, right? He's at the highest of highest levels. 7 years ago, and I always like giving people their flowers. I think that's what it's all about. Man, what a story! 7 years ago, he was a high school head coach at Ferguson High School. And 7 years later, he's an assistant coach at one of the premier institutions and programs in the country. So, that this country affords you the opportunity to dream big. Absolutely. There are many things wrong with this country, but there's so much better things that this country does give you. And one of those is, that you have an opportunity to have a dream, work hard at it, and it comes to fruition if you really put in the time. And man, for me to see him when he's successful, I'm living that success too, from afar. But it gives me great joy to see where he's at. It gives me great joy to see hopefully where his career will lead to. And we're both in that, from that mentality of we are where our feet are. And right now I'm at Maryville, he's at Tennessee, and we're trying to win it all. And we're trying to be as successful as we can possibly be. And if this is it for us, this is it. If it's not, man, whatever comes our way, we'll tackle it like we always have, with great passion and integrity and love for our kids. And so, yeah, man, I just wanted to give him his flowers because it's a remarkable story where you go from Ferguson High School to the University of Tennessee, and like you said, Marcus, whether it's a year from now, 2 years from now, whenever God has in store for us and him, brother, he's gonna be a head coach, and I can't wait to see that happen. So
we're gonna be rooting for you the whole way, bro.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that, man. And that's love, man. For Raul to say that means a lot to me, and a lot of respect for Raul too, man. He keeps doing what he's doing. I mean, I know he loves being in Maryville, man, but he's gonna have his shot too. You know what I mean? Division III basketball is no joke. You got some big time coaches at the D3 level, and if you look at some of these other coaches now that are successful at Division I level, they were D3 coaches or D2 coaches. So, look at my boss. She was D2 head coach. If anybody wants to play for a real one, they need to definitely look at Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? Not because I'm here. It ain't got nothing to do with me, bro. It's about her, But, I mean, Raul brought up a lot of good points, being thankful, man. Like this country, you got to understand where me and Raul come from, man. We're Cuban. Cuba, it's kind of crazy. A lot of people don't even know what goes on in Cuba, man. Yeah. Like my dad was a political prisoner, man. My dad went to war against Fidel Castro. He was in the Bay of Pigs. Man. My dad was a freedom fighter, and he passed away 10 years ago, and he wasn't really close to me. I got to know my dad later on in life, man, but I appreciate this country. Is it perfect? Nah. But like Raul said, where else can you go? My mom didn't have much of an education. She did the best that she could. And, in this country, man, if you work your tail off, right, and you just try to make smart decisions, you never know where you can, what can happen. And for me, man, to hear Raul say that, it's great, because I hope that I can inspire other coaches out there, man, because there's a lot of people like me and Raul out there that are super good, super talented, and they just don't, they might not believe, and they can do it.
Yeah.
Me and Raul, we ain't the smartest guys. We're not.
But you're passionate, bro, and you work hard.
I know. And Frank wasn't the smartest guy, and Jose Fernandez wasn't the smartest guy, and Sergio Rocco and Tony Pujo. Dude, but that's why I have a lot of pride, man. There's times that I get emotional, with the national anthem. I got a lot of respect for this country, because my mom came here running from Cuba, running, just looking for some freedom, man. So often, when people talk bad about this country, it kind of bothers me, man, because, one thing we have here is we have freedom, man.
Yeah.
You got the freedom to become who you want to become. And it ain't perfect. There's a lot going on here that is not good. But you know what? If you work, you know what I'm saying?
Opportunities there, bro.
Yeah, man. You have a lot of opportunity. And the next thing is, man, you got to take advantage of every opportunity you get.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I've always been about, man. You give me a shot, and I'm going to work, and I'm going to make sure that you look and say, man, you know what? I make the right decision by giving this guy an opportunity. Starting, with my first little job at the city of Miami Parks and Recreation at Jose Marti Park. You know, my little AAU coach, Coach Chicago, man, that guy impacted my life. That guy hired me every summer.
Nice.
And boy, I made sure I was on time, and I made sure I cleaned that pool up good, and I make sure, you know what I'm saying, I did the best that I could, man. You know, because you know when you build your reputation, man, and sometimes that's all you have.
No
You know,
doubt.
so for me in this profession now, you know, I think I've created the reputation of a hard worker, you know. Um, and it could take you a long way, man. But like Raul said, man, you know, coming from Cuba, man, where you don't own anything.
Mm.
You know, they give you your food.
Yeah.
You know, they cut your lights off at 8 o'clock at night. You know what I
Man,
mean?
different.
They you know, yeah, yeah. So don't talk to me about this country, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear it.
We got it made where we're at.
Yeah, man. You know, and obviously there's a lot of different things going on, man, that are not right.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you know what, man?
We
There's an
love it.
opportunity.
And we're
Yeah, man.
blessed. We're
So
blessed to have it,
yes,
bro. And
yeah.
like, just talking to you guys for the last hour or so, I guarantee, you talk about inspiration for people, for coaches, but I'm pretty sure that you guys are inspiring more than just coaches back home where you're from. You got little Latino kids that see someone from where they're from pursuing whatever passion they got and giving everything they got to it and having success. Well, then I can do the same thing, regardless of what the profession is. So I promise you guys are inspiring another generation back home where you're from. So you guys should be proud of yourself.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that, man. You too, brother. You too,
I,
man. You're inspiring yourself, man. You know,
I
just by
appreciate
taking
that.
your time to do this. You know, ain't nobody paying you for this, man. You know, this is your time. You know, and you're just trying to grow the game, man, and put something out there, man, to impact and inspire somebody.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the root of this, man. Is it's that it's inspiring and preparing, you know, young ladies and young men for life.
That's what
And
it's
I'm big
about,
on that,
bro.
man. Yeah,
I
because
mean, Raul
it
asked me
happened for me.
how long I've been coaching. I said, I've been a head coach at the high school I graduated from for the last going on 11 years. And I've had opportunities. People called, hey, want to look? I don't even want to look at it. This is home. These are my
Yeah.
guys. Want to help the kids that I was when I was a kid and try to help these guys the best way I can and do it through more than just hoops, but the community and the family, man. It doesn't get better for me on that end.
Yeah, man, and that's something that's super meaningful too, man. Like we had the opportunity the other day to go work with Hoops for Hope, man, and that was so impactful, man. You know, to see those kids, man, and how you know the smile on their faces, man, and the impact that you can make, man, in the community, man. Like that's why I can't wait, you know, to have
Yeah,
to lead a program one day and have our staff and have our players, you know, in the community, man, impacting and just trying to grow the game, man, and be good people, man. You
for
know what I
sure.
mean?
No doubt, bro. No doubt. Well, I appreciate you guys. I don't want to take up your whole night, but man, it means a lot having you guys take time out of your day. For me, I'll share a little personal story. Like it's the anniversary of the day my mom died, 12
I
years
saw
ago.
that, bro. I
Yeah.
saw
Yeah.
that.
Condolences.
But we went and did our, spent some time at the cemetery, spent some loving time with her. But it means a lot for you guys to still spend that day with me. So I appreciate you guys.
Oh, bro, no doubt, man. My mom is everything to me, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if y'all
Brother,
need
man.
some, huh? What's that, Ro?
No, man, just thank you for your time. Anytime coach or I know I'm speaking for him, but that we can help in any way, we will. We're not those type of guys, no matter how high we get,
Yeah.
we always have time for our friends and we're committed to growing the game, and giving back, man. We talk about growing and giving. Those are two of the most important G words for us, right?
Yeah.
You want to be a real G,
Yeah.
grow
And
every
give.
single day and give back. Those are real G's.
I like
And
that.
so for me, man, anytime you need anything, I'm an open book. Whatever you need, for other high school coaches, other coaches, kids in general, I'm here to help. I'm here to serve. At the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. So, man, appreciate this platform. And again, anytime we can help you, my program or Gabe and I together, and hopefully see you. Think Final Four this year's in San Antonio, right?
I'm gonna be here, bro. I was gonna say, you want to
All
hoop?
right.
Bring
All
some
right.
shoes. The game
All
won't be
right.
here, but we can.
No, I'll hit you up for real because that's kind of our family trip. I do that with my wife and my daughter.
Yeah.
That's our thing every year. We go to the Final Four. We've been doing that now for the last 2-3 years. created kind of a custom a thing that we do together.
Yeah,
so
I love it.
for sure, I'll hit you up. I'll be down there and we can hoop it up. Oh yeah, and you can bring it too, Lil. Hey Lazo, you can bring it.
We're gonna be there, Gabe. If you want to come out, we're gonna be here, bro.
Don't get him started, bro. You don't know the amount of junk that Raul talks, bro. I wish his players can see the amount of junk that guy talks. That guy is an elite
trash talker.
junk talker. Unbelievable, bro. And he has an unbelievable creative mind where he'll send out a text on the group chat within minutes of getting his behind kicked with graphics and everything. I'm telling you, when I become a head coach, I'm going to hire Raul to be my graphic guy and my associate head coach because, El tipo is unbelievable.
Bro, he had me fooled. I thought he was like the nice, innocent one, dude.
No, bro.
You got me fooled.
No, the only time he's innocent is when he shows up with no socks on or different shoes on and stuff. Because the guy wakes up and
it's 5:30 in the morning. It's 5:30 in the morning.
Marcus, the tipo shows up with a long sock and a short sock, different shoes on. And tipo, bro, his players don't know that. So I'm going to embarrass him one of these days and go to one of his practices and let him know.
It's coming out, bro. It's going to happen.
Love it.
Man, well, you guys enjoy your night, man. I appreciate y'all, man.
Mark, thanks, man.
Y'all need something from me, hit
bro.
me up.
All right,
Appreciate
brother.
you.
Good
Yes,
seeing
sir.
y'all. Bye.
Yes, sir. Later.
It's called Coaching Connection. It's called Coaching Connection.